Hello, everyone. This is Mario Hardy, aka DJ Radtop. Today, I have with me Mark from Real Talk TV. What's going on, Mark?
Bro, man, I'm feeling that intro, man. That intro just got me energized, all the
Okay,
way energized. I'm glad to be here, brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Look, it's Thursday, close to the weekend. You know what we do on the weekends? We get busy. So, hey,
That's
I'm
that.
getting ready.
Man, I just got finished telling one of my clients today. I said, my whole weekend is booked up. So, normally I cannot edit at all on the weekends because that's where most of the work comes.
Right, like that's the bulk of our workload is the weekend, and then we
Yes.
spend the week trying to get ready for the next one.
How about that? How about that, man? But God is good, man. He's keeping it rolling.
Well, today, like I said, well, welcome you to the show. And
Yes, sir.
today we're going to talk. We're going to highlight you and talk about what you do and how you do it.
Yes,
So,
sir.
can you go ahead and give us a quick introduction of yourself and your business and how you make things work around here in this Fayetteville area?
Okay. First of all, it's Mark, the founder of Real Talk TV, where we specialize in videography, weddings, events, birthday parties, you name it. We will capture that for you. It's about capturing that moment. That's why on the slogan it says, "I'm gonna move over." It says, "We are your voice." So we are your visual voice when you want to be able to have these long-lasting memories through video and just be able to say what you need to through video. Here at Real Talk TV, man, we can make that happen, and we've been making that happen, man, here throughout Fayetteville for a number of years, possibly like 2 years. I believe I've been going really strong with this. Um, and we offer them videography services. I try to make sure that I'm delivering the best um, um, product,
Right.
for my clients. And that's what I pride myself off of. Of course, it does come with a price, but at the end of the day, as long as you're delivering what the client wants and they're satisfied, a lot of clients don't mind paying for long lasting, good quality memories.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know I've met you on quite a few different events.
Yes, sir.
Not just like I said from weddings and then also from community events. So
So
you have
you've
done them
seen me in
all.
action.
Yes. Actually, look, I ain't got pictures of you in action. So,
How about that? Yes, sir. That's what's up.
but like I said, with you pretty much you've been on it for two. I thought you've been longer than 2 years.
Well, and I'll give you a little backstory to that. So, and this is it's still a growing process. When I first started videography, it was back in 2016, to where, and now I'm going to give away an idea that I had, which somebody might go ahead and use it, but that's fine. Let them have that blessing because I might tap into that later. But for right now, I can't. And Real Talk TV was more, we wanted to be the voice of businesses that are out there that really don't have advertisement like that. So we would go to that business and give them a small interview and things of that nature. And I would edit it up, and then I would intertwine it with what I called back then the roundtable discussion. Is where it actually started in 2016. So like you would really call me the innovator and the emancipator of the table talks. I was just
Got you. Okay.
ahead of my time because we were doing it back in 2016. But
Right.
once COVID came, the podcast just skyrocketed
Right.
because
Right.
that's all people had to do. So now you got podcasts everywhere. But we were doing this back in 2015.
Right.
So, and I was doing a lot of that filming, Mario, and I was going out doing a lot of free filming. And also at that time, I was learning. I was
Right.
learning how to film. I was learning how to edit. I was learning how to talk to people, what they look for in video. I was able to learn so much during that time between 2015 and 2018.
Right.
To where in 2018, I got hired for my first film. I was called the film for Tracy Knight. She had her son was shot by the Fayetteville police. So I had to do a documentary film for her. And that was my first hired film. And that sparked what now told me that, hey, man, you know, people will pay for videography. And since then, my mindset was, I still want to do stuff here and there on the, you know, just for the community, just show up and do it.
Right.
But if
Right.
there's a chance that, you know, I can make a living off of this and to doing what I love to do, not only that, but producing something that I love seeing people smile about. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like
right.
when I give them a finished product, they be like, yo, I love it. And that's the drive that drove me and drives me to continue to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we want to get paid, but really, I never grew up loving the film. I love to do music, man. Ask
Right.
OG Knight Sr. OG Knight Sr., he was my manager. He was my music manager when I moved here to Fayetteville. And everything was music. Everything was Nempho music, Nempho music, Nempho music, real music, ENT. So I never thought I was filming. And when I tell people that God gave me this gift, some people might believe me, some people might not believe me. But this filming came to me in a dream from God. I promise you, I woke up with this, and he said, I want you to do this. This is what you're going to do. I had my own TV show in my dream. And I woke up and I'm like, well, God, what is it going to be? And it came out to Real Talk TV. And it's been like that ever since. And I just let him lead my way. You feel what I'm saying?
I definitely feel what you're saying, because
I let him lead my way, even when it comes to customers. I let him lead my way with everything.
And I think that's why that's like a blessing in disguise, because like I say, it's your talent. It's like you're able to use your talents to make a great product.
Yes.
God-given talent, you're able to take that and use it, and you're able to bless other people with your talents.
Yes.
That's one of those. That's why I can easily relate to what you're saying, because I'm right there with you.
Yeah, brother, you have to be a blessing to somebody else first.
Right.
So, you know, and with that being said, you know, I moved down here in Fayetteville in 2007. Like I said, I did music from when I was in Philadelphia. Then I moved here all the way up until 2015 was the last time I believe I recorded and wrote my last song before Real Talk TV just took over, you know.
Okay. So so why did you, like, from Philadelphia to Fayetteville? What brought you here to Fayetteville?
Okay, man, you grabbing me like Chelsea did on I'm for God, boy. She pulled the questions on me, and because I really never talked to a lot of people here, and they really don't know my backstory. They just know me.
Because I thought all this time I thought you was from Fayetteville. See, when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. So I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, and I moved down here with my son. So my son's mom passed away in 2007. When she passed from sickle cell anemia, right?
Okay.
And when she passed, like I was really depressed. Like I was really in a different state. You know, now I go from being this dude that I was just doing whatever. Now I'm a single father, parent. What am I going to do now? So at the time, my son's aunt she moved down here from Philly. So she told me, she was like, well, you know, you got your son on your own, you know, they'll give you housing and stuff down here because, you know, you got your son, they'll help you out and just get out of Philly and change the environment. Right. I came down, I flew down here twice, and I did all my paperwork from Philly and I flew back and forth. But the one good thing about it is before my son's mom passed, we visited her down here, but when we got down here, my son's mom got sick. So we was in what's that on Owen Drive? The hospital? Cape Fear.
Cape Fear, okay.
So yeah, we was in Cape Fear for 2 weeks. Now I'm from Philly and I'm down here in this Cape Fear hospital, like, and she looking out the window and we see a little carnival or something over there at that time. I guess they had a carnival or something at that time. And we watching it and everything from the window. And she told me this, man, before she died, right? She said, look, she said, do you like it down here? Because I had to stay here for 2 weeks because sickle cell patients, it take a while for them to get, it take a while.
Right. So
she was like, would you move down here? And I'm like, well, I'm from the city. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So she's like, you know what? I kind of like it, because she told me to go out, go see what it's like down here. So she told me, she said, you know what? If anything ever happened to me, I remember this clear as day. She said, if anything ever happens to me, I don't want you to raise my kids in Philadelphia. I want you to raise them down south. And I looked at her like, girl, what you talking about? Like, I hear you, but okay. Not knowing months later, she really died. You know what I'm saying? And so when her sister told me that, I really took into consideration what she left me with at the hospital and said, you know what? She don't want me to raise her son in Philly, so I'm going to just honor what she want and move down and check out Fayetteville, And that's where I've been. Like, this my home. Like, when I go over to Philly, I'm like, yo, I got to hurry up and get back to Fayetteville, man. It's just crazy. I got to hurry up and get back to Fayetteville, man.
Okay. That's, man.
Yeah.
I say, that's what I say. There's so many of us that are not from here that come here, but we make it our home.
We make it our home.
And we also try to, and it's amazing that there's so many of us that they're not from Fayetteville, and we're trying to do, we're really trying to make Fayetteville a better place.
Yes. I mean, because there's a lot of good, genuine people here, man. Like I said, coming from where I'm from, you really can't speak to somebody without them looking at you like, what you speaking to me for? What's crazy, Mario? When I first moved down here, right, I used to work at the Purelator, and I was just fresh from moving down here. So I was really tight. I didn't really talk to too many people. And one of the guys that I was working with one day, he was like, you know what, man? He came to me. He said, you know what, man? You got to loosen up, bro. I said, well, what you mean by that? He said, like, nobody's out to get you. And I'm like, well, what you mean by that? He said, you just so tight with everything because, that's how where I'm from, man. You can't just talk with anybody, man. They'll go in your pocket at the same time you shaking their hand.
Right.
So it's like, and I had to sit back and think like, that's somebody that was observing me from the outside, so I had to consider what he was saying and was like, you know what, maybe I do need to loosen up and try to adapt to what people are trying to bring to me down here, because they say Southern hospitality, and that's what it is down here. And so I had to embrace that. And once I learned to embrace that Southern hospitality down here, it opened me to be a better person, because I wasn't so tight and cautious and not so, not wanting to deal with you and this. I'm more. I'm a lot different.
It's different when you come from the city life, and you come to. I mean, when we're talking about big city, because like Philly, that's big city. Yeah. When you come from big city to little city, it's like your guard. You're always on your guard. And that's how it is in like growing up in Atlanta, College Park. That's the same way with me. Was as I started to travel to different places, I was able to let my guard down. But in a sense, your survival instinct is still there. It's still there. It's something. It's still intact.
Exactly. So it's like I'm still a product of my environment.
Right.
But
absolutely.
At the end of the day, at the same time, I'm actually, growing to the culture here.
Right.
And once I soaked up the culture and the people here, it's like I adapt and I flow with a lot of people here, man.
I know. Every time I turn around,
a lot of people here, man. And some people you know, they got this theory, oh, up north people are like this, and we really aren't. It's just where we're from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We kind of animated. We animated like everywhere like this. So, but it's funny. But some people do understand that, and they understand me when they approach me and they talk to me. They like, oh, you got to understand he's different, but he's the same. Still,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely. So, what do you love to do the most? Like with your business, with your company, what's like the main thing you love to do?
Yo, the main thing I love to do is pick up that camera and film. And you know what I'm saying? I promise you, I do. It's like I can't even watch TV the same because I watch how the angles come in, and
Right,
I watch
right.
how they're shooting it, and I watch what coloring they're using, and I say, how do they do that? And it was a commercial that came on the other day. I rewinded it like 2 or 3 times because I wanted to see exactly how they did that, because I want to perform that in the video because it was just so decent. So, and that's really what I love to do outside of being a parent and taking care of my kids. That's like my every day when I wake up. It's like my kids. Now what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They are like my fuel and my drive, and knowing that I had to do it for so long by myself, not like somewhat by myself. My other 2 kids, their parents are still here, but still having that by myself experience,
Right.
it's just something that, as a man, if you haven't went through raising a kid by yourself, I don't think that you could really totally understand, because I got homeboys that tell me now, like, I just don't know how you do it.
Right.
How do you do it? How do you do it? Like, they respect it, but they can't, because they got they baby mom, or they could run the streets and this and this and that, but I just couldn't do that,
Right.
And I'm just blessed, man, all the way around with that. And that's what I love to do. Those are the things that I love to do. And I love to be a blessing to other people.
What's your favorite type of event you like to do? What's like your primary event you love to do?
To be honest, I love to do weddings.
You love the weddings? Okay.
I love it because I love turning weddings into movies. You know what I'm saying? It's just once again, I watch movies. I watch them little romantic scenes and stuff like that.
Right.
I want to do that on your wedding, because it's going to look so dope when I film it. And I would say weddings I love the most, and then I love doing like events, like covering events, big events I love to do. But my favorites are weddings. Birthday parties are really cool too. But yeah, weddings, I put weddings on the top of the list.
What are like when you do a wedding? What are the pros and cons? And what's a good takeaway? So if a client wanted to hire you, and you want to prep them for what to expect, what would you tell them?
So one thing I do ask my clients, right? Because some of them like it and some of them don't. But a lot of times, in order for me to perform and to deliver that video in the creative way that I'm already thinking, sometimes I ask them, is it okay if I step into the wedding just to get closer shots? Because when I roam with the camera, sometimes I want to get a certain shot and I might have to come close.
Right.
So I ask them my limits. What are my limits? Give me my limits to where I can go with this camera. Secondly, I really don't worry about people that don't want to be seen in the camera, because they'll hide their face and something like that, or they'll be like, oh, they'll do something that they don't want to be in the camera. So I make sure, do your guests know that we're going to be filming? Because when I bring that camera and I'm filming a decent shot, and they happen to be in the shot and they don't want their face turned, and this shot is so dope, but all of a sudden you see them cover their face in the dope shot, it's like, oh my God.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So do your family and friends want to be in the shot? Do they know his camera's going to be there? Because I'm very detailed, and my best films are when I could be detailed like that.
Right. Well, you can
I
be
think,
yourself.
yeah. I mean, I can zoom from a distance as well, but sometimes it's certain shots that you really want to get close in. Like, let me get close in with this shot and then work out. The one thing I don't like about weddings sometimes is when you're working with a photographer that doesn't want to share ground. It's like,
Yeah.
we're not in competition. Look, we can both get these shots.
Right.
Just
Right.
let me. And when I do, one thing I do, and it's something that, because I always approach people. I'm a people person, so I'll approach somebody and say, "Hey, if you're doing what I'm doing, hey, you doing photography here? Okay, this is what I like to do. Are you okay with that?" More than likely, I always try to film behind the photographer.
Right.
Because that's a dope shot in the video itself. Shooting the photographer, shooting the subject in the shot. So I like to shoot behind the photographer, but sometimes when the photographer is getting a shot of, say, all of the brides ladies, okay, I'm gonna get a shot of all of y'all. Well, I want to get that shot on the pan too with the video.
Right. Right.
So after you get your shot, just for a second, say, hey, let the videographer get y'all in that shot too. Bam, I get her. Bam, now you can get your next shot. So sometimes you'll run into other photographers that just don't want to cooperate and work together. And I feel like that really gets under my skin at weddings. I haven't met too many of them, but the ones that I did do, I still tried to be cordial and get my shots and just, make the best of it. But other than that, man, there's nothing that I think that with weddings I don't like. Because for me, I charge by the hour with weddings, and some clients want the pre stuff. Can you get them getting done at the hotel? And the groomsmen are going to be over here, so can we get that footage too? And I try to tell them, like, really, that's extra.
Right.
If you want that, it can happen, but it's also extra work, because not only that, if that happens, either two things has to happen. I have to meet with the brides ladies here, and then I have to go over here and meet with the groomsmen, and then I got to go back and go to the wedding. So, or I have to hire somebody else, because we might not have the time to do it, and tell that videographer go there, and then I'll go here, and then we'll meet up at the wedding. And it's like, when that extra comes in, it's like, we have to charge that, because look what has to happen for that to happen.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. So other than that, man, I've had wedding clients that's been fabulous, man. Fabulous, man. Even, they'll set you a plate to the side. Hey, we made you a plate too.
Yep, that's always
And
a good part.
I eat. I might not look like it, Mario, but I eat, bro. I eat.
Yeah, I hear you.
I eat.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to, like, in order for you to do your job effectively, what is a safe time that, like, for a wedding, for example, how long should someone hire you? If they want to get, like, the beginning, they want to catch your, like, all that extra stuff. What's a good time frame? Like, how many hours should they hire you?
And it's really tough to answer that question, because I've had weddings that was 4 hours. I've had weddings that was 6 hours. I've had weddings that was 8 hours. And the 4-hour wedding was the one that wanted the pre stuff, not the 6 and the 8-hour wedding.
Right.
And so it's really, I would just really have to say, it would have to be up to the couple to plan accordingly, because if you know your wedding is going to be on Saturday, and you want to be married by 4 p.m. And if you want to do that pre stuff, okay, let's shoot it early enough to where, because me personally, I don't mind hiring somebody else to go here while I go there to kill two birds with one stone. But if it was just me, that's easy, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour trip. So let's plan 8 in the morning, or let's say 10 in the morning to 12, and you get married by 4. So I have all the pre-stuff that I
Right.
need.
You have time.
I don't have to rush. I don't
Right.
have to rush to be here. And sometimes we do get caught in a rushing situation because they're in a rushing situation.
Right. And I think that's what it is like I know one of the things I do when I give a presentation is I let the client know up front, you're gonna have a 10-hour wedding day. From beginning to end, it's gonna be 10 hours. So
Yeah.
when you're working with that 10-hour window, you have to now put all your logistic stuff in place. And so like what you're describing is like that's the perfect thing that they don't understand is that when you try to catch that footage prior at 10 to 12. So like now you add it on. That's why I stress like when you have someone doing a wedding at like they're gonna get married at noon, that means that's like an early day for all of us
Yeah.
as vendors. So that's why I tell people when you plan a wedding, you got to take all your logistics support and put it in place.
Yes.
And like it's like one of the things like a lot of people don't know as a videographer, and you try and get those extra shots where they're getting prepped. So now you got to have time allocated for that.
That's yeah.
And so that's what a lot. And I promise you. I'm gonna ask this question. I already know the answer, but when you tell them the timing that you need to do that, does it surprise them?
The only two, and it really didn't surprise them, just because I laid it out just like that.
Okay.
And I believe as long as you're clear with them,
And educate them on the process, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take me time to get here, and where the groomsmen gonna be? Oh, they're at y'all at the hotel, and the groomsmen are at the house. Okay, so I gotta go from Cliffdale all the way to Ramsey Street,
Right.
and then we're all meeting up down on Owen Drive.
Right.
So I gotta drive here, I gotta drive there. So, and like I said, I haven't experienced a client that really just didn't want to understand that yet. I hope I don't.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying because it's out. I've heard other people that had to go through that.
Right.
You know, and somebody asked me one time, "Hey man, you do that pre stuff before a wedding?" I said, "Yeah." Oh, I don't get into that. I don't get into that. It'd be too much, man. They be wanting too much and they don't want to pay. And I'm like, well, the people I met paid,
Right.
but I just haven't experienced that yet.
But it's just like I said, you take time to you kind of break it down and educate them on the process.
On the process, yeah.
And that really helps out a lot because then they understand what they're paying for.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a fly.
So let me ask this. So like when you go through, let's say you do a full wedding day and you get all the footage prior, the during, and then that grand exit out, how long does it take for you to edit all that footage?
So I normally give my clients, them 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
For return. And that's only because 9 times out of 10, I'm already editing a project prior to them hiring me. So I might be still in the process of editing this one client when I'm hired to this wedding. So that gives me time to finish up this client and then to get to their project. So far, I've been able to meet my 2 weeks or before.
Okay.
I know some people that give 30 days. And I'm not even mad at that.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think the earliest time I've ever heard is a 3-week turnaround.
It's a 3-week turnaround.
Three-week turnaround. That's like that's the norm for a photographer and videographer.
Yeah.
Is a 3-week turnaround.
Yeah, because it's so much footage to watch. Mm-hmm. It's so much footage to watch. I remember everything that I filmed, but I gotta go back and see it and watch it over again. And it takes time. And like on your last show, they was talking about time. Right. a lot of people think that, you know, it's just, hey man, go, you recorded me today, they'll expect to see the video tomorrow or 2 days. It's like, really, it's really, I can't do that. You know, it just depends on what it is. I have returned the film over in 2 days, just depending on really what they needed.
Right.
But it wasn't no, you know, real production like a wedding or something,
Right.
or
Right.
events. These things take time. We sit in front of this thing for hours on end. You know, I wake up every day very early, probably like 6:30. And before I start editing, I get my coffee, I pray, and I try to start editing by 8 o'clock, right? Between 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock, I'm normally editing. 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, I'm taking a break. I treat it almost like a 9 to 5.
Right, right. It's pretty much, it is like a 9 to 5. Right.
Absolutely. I try to take a break, and sometimes I'll take a little extended break, but by 2 o'clock into 6 o'clock, I'm editing again.
Right.
I might take another break. After I get off of here with you, guess what I'm about to do? Get back to this project. You know, because, you know, I want to get this client's project done in a timely manner, but, you know, it's time. It's time. And once people would really respect and understand that, you know, any editor, any photographer, any videographer, when they're sitting filming, that's work itself.
Yeah,
just filming. It's work itself.
Because you're trying to capture everything. You're trying to dodge people. You're trying to dodge individuals. It's like an obstacle course.
You're using your body. You're using your brain. You're using your creativity. Like, you're not just paying for a person to bring a camera. You're paying for not only the camera, but their creativity. That more than likely, if a person hired you, Mario, normally it's probably number one, word of mouth.
Right.
Somebody referred Mario because he delivered a quality party. He did everything he needed to do. Secondly, they want to see what you delivered.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, so they seeing like Mario is up there working. I see why it costs that price.
Right.
You're working, you're sweating, although I'm at the computer, man, it's sweat. I'd be like, yo, I can't believe I can't fit this clip right here.
Right.
I can't believe this, man. Or I can't, man, let me take this out and just add this. And let me go back and find this clip. I know I had it right. It's so much, it's work. So
and then God forbid that you come across something that you didn't want to capture that's in one of your key videos.
That part. That part.
Then you got to edit that piece out just so you can get
You know, so, you know, and like I said, a lot of my clients, man, that I've had, man, they always respect my time. They respect my craft. They respect, and they respect me. Then you got some that want to hook up and stuff like that, but you know who to look out for because they're genuinely going to pay it forward back anyway. And then, you know, it's another thing that I've gotten into a situation, Mario, is with thank you to Mario Hart, but yeah, that's not OG Knight, man. That's my dog. Is raw footage.
Yeah.
So when you talk about raw footage, have you ever been asked about raw footage?
No, I know about raw footage because as a working in public affairs, I had to do camera, I do photography and videography, and raw footage it's an unedited version of that video or that picture, and it gives you more data, it gives you more imagery, it gives you more clarity on what that image is or that video in some cases.
Absolutely. So
it takes up a lot more space.
Has clients ever asked you for raw footage?
No, never.
No. Well, there's a such thing as raw footage, right? Like you said. So as videographers, we film everything at this event.
Right.
And I mean, it's even from walking around with the camera, getting to where we want to get that shot. So you got everything in this raw footage, right? And I had clients that wanted raw footage as well. And the thing about raw footage is just because you hire me for that event does not mean you get that raw footage.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Am I correct?
You're correct. You're absolutely correct.
And you have some clients that'll say, well, you know, you filmed me now, I want my raw footage too. And sometimes, a lot of times I had to stop them and say, you know, I don't trip like that over raw footage, because you can put any price on raw footage. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, you can look this up as well.
Right.
But to just automatically assume and say, hey, I'm, you know, to get me my raw footage, give me my raw footage. It's like, yo, don't you know that you really have to pay for that?
Right. Absolutely.
Why you have to pay for that? Because once again, all that is the work.
Right.
That's me walking around. That's me
Right.
sweating, bending down, bending over to get this angle, to get that shot, to do that. So that's like me just giving you my paycheck.
And the thing is that raw footage is like, after you get that raw footage, you can take your product, like they're going to take your product and turn it into something that's no longer your product.
That's no longer.
And that's the part that people have to understand, that raw footage is kind of like one of those things to where once you release that raw footage, it's no longer you.
Yeah.
Is they can modify it the way they want
how
to.
they want.
And then raw footage, then again, I'm gonna tell you like this: raw footage is hard to deliver because of how large it is.
Yeah.
The filing that you're going to use for raw footage, like you might record 6 hours worth of footage,
Yeah,
but you're only getting 1 hour of a whole rundown of what happened for that 6 hours.
That part.
I mean, and just 1 hour normally is about between what depends on what quality. If you're doing 4K, 1080, or 720, is like it can go anywhere from 1 gig to 7-8 gigs worth of space.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing that I do is, especially I do it for weddings and events, I offer the raw footage, because at the end of the day, although I know I can put any price on that raw footage, I still try to make it affordable for the client, because I edited your event or your wedding to this right here.
Right.
But that raw footage has the other stuff that I couldn't put in there into your film. So now you do get to have that, where as though you can go look back on, you know, somebody that might have said something that I wasn't able to put in the film, because we can't make films 30 minutes like that, you know.
Right.
A wedding, you know, you really don't, the people are making them like 5-7 minutes, you know, if that, you know,
they're making it real, yeah.
On the wedding recap, you know, but we've been filming that thing for 10 hours.
Right.
So just imagine we had to take 10 hours worth of footage and turn it into 5 minutes.
And that's the trick of the trade, because I know I can't do it. I mean, I could do it, but I kind of like edit everything into 1 hour, and I'm done with it. I do a 1 hour, I do 1 hour worth of footage when I do my video editing, is I'll edit into 1 hour, and it normally covers the entirety. Now the ceremony, I record the entire ceremony, so that normally takes about 20 minutes right there by itself, and then the rest of it is just clips of what happened, the highlights of what happened. But I try to keep it within 1 hour to make it decent. Like what y'all be putting together, I don't see how y'all do that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, because I have a hard time just trying to do 1 hour.
You have to literally take really the whole day and turn all of those hours into 5 or 7 minutes. I think I've seen the longest video wedding recap I've seen probably like 7 or 8 minutes. I don't see them really much longer than that.
Yeah. And that
so
is
just imagine just having to sit, but I love it.
That's what I say. I have a hard time doing 1 hour, better yet 5 minutes.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what I said. Like that's why I tell a lot of people that my turnaround time is different, because I'm not doing a lot of editing. I'm just cutting and slicing and dicing, and I'm done.
Yeah.
The stuff that y'all have to do is, and that's why I would tell people the video footage that I capture from the dance cam is not on a professional level.
Yeah.
And I stress that to them as I'm a professional because I don't do the editing
The
on that
editing part.
level. I
Yeah.
know if I had to sit back and if I had to edit everything that comes off that dance cam,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have time to do what I do.
Yeah. So let me give you some little history, right? On how I learned how to edit. I tore my Achilles back in 2018, a complete tear. Like
Ooh.
I couldn't walk or anything for like 5 months. I couldn't walk. And at that time, I was just, well, about 2017 to 2018, I was just really getting into editing and stuff like that and really picking up on the filming aspect. And I tore my Achilles, right? And I'm like, Lord, why did I tear my Achilles? I gotta film. I gotta be able to walk the film.
Right.
And the only thing I could hear God saying to me was, you filming everything, but you did not learn how to edit. I was filming everything, Mario,
Right.
but I didn't really learn how to edit. So I'm gonna sit you down and you gonna learn. And for 5 months, all I did on my back was learn how to edit. And that's what got me to where I believe I am now. Because for 5 months, I couldn't do nothing. I had to hop outside, go film some footage, bring it back into the editor, and,
Right.
and just learn how. Okay, well, I can't do nothing, so and I learned how to edit, man.
So you pretty much
I take losing my Achilles as like a gift and a curse, because I don't think if I didn't sit down at that time, I would have just been running like I was.
right.
I had to get sat down. And that's when I really, 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 really mastered editing. And when I came out of it, that's when I really started going hard with the round table. I think you remember the round table discussion we came
Right.
out with.
I remember that. I remember.
Came out with the round table discussion. I was editing. And it is what it is now, man.
And so that's one of the things about you. Your talent is like you learned everything by on the job training. OJT is what a lot of people call it, but on the job training.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things to where it's good to learn that, because you kind of like perfect it with your style of doing it. You design your own platform.
Yes.
And I think that's one of those things that when you design your own platform, you become the master at what you do, because you have a special way of doing it. It's
Yeah.
not on a corporate level. That's one of the things I tell people a lot is don't get like pure talent mixed up with corporate. Pure
Yeah.
talent, it will be corporate every single day, because you're putting more heart and you put more soul in what you do, because it's coming from the heart.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, like, when I sit back and I see how excited you get when you're recording, I seen you in action when
Yes,
you're
sir.
recording, and you are so focused at what you do, and it's like a natural. It's kind of like you're breathing. It's like you're
Yes.
so natural at what you do when you're being a videographer.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's one of the things that people like. That's why you have so many people that come to you, because you're good at what you do, and that's
I
something that you
appreciate
develop over the years.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because like when I go into anybody's project, I do go focus.
Yeah.
I always pray on it before I go. That's number one. But I'm always focused because it's important to that client, yo. Like I always ask them, is it something specific that you really want me to catch, or you don't want me to catch? But a lot of time the clients be like, look, do you, because I seen you in action before. I seen your work. Just do you. I know it's going to come out. And it's just, man. I was telling my brother, like I think we was talking before this, man. Like I never thought I'd be filming nobody's anything. I never thought about. I was rapping. I was doing music. I thought I was gonna be a rapper, man.
Right.
You look up my history, you'll see that's what Nempho is. He was a rapper, but this was just my calling, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, definitely.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to even explain it to people when they say, "Hey, man, how'd you do that? How'd you get into that?" God, man, he just put it on.
Right. Let me ask you this: if you had to tell somebody young that wanted to get into being a videographer, what would you tell them?
Oh man, I would tell them to make sure that really it's what they want to do. Don't go in it if you don't have some type of passion for it, because it is overwhelming sometimes. It'll make you want to quit. Be original. And I found out for myself, and I've always been an original person. Like I never wanted to be in the in crowd. That's your crowd, you know. I'll see it from a distance, but I'm gonna watch from a distance because I don't want to be like nobody else. You know, I'll take notes from this person. I'll watch that person, but I always wanted to be me. And I believe in being original. People respect you more, being yourself. Um, and just continue, just be yourself with doing it. You know, don't try to copy off of somebody. You know,
Right.
I'll watch a style of a videographer, but I won't copy them to say I'm going to copy how he did it. But I like the way that he did it.
Right.
So I'm gonna try it, and maybe I'm gonna bounce it a different way.
Right.
So I'm always thinking of ways to get better and level up, and that's what you always want to do. So I would tell that young person to always, you know, once you get it, try to get better with it. You
Right.
know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
find out where you went wrong the last time, and do it better the next time. And and don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it, or if they don't like the fact that you're doing videography. If it's what you believe in and it's what you dream in and it's what you love, do it.
Right.
You know, do it, because you're
Absolutely.
gonna have people out there that's not gonna believe in your dreams, and they're gonna be the same ones that tell you they love you too.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the
They're
ones you
gonna
gotta
be
be
the
careful
same
with.
ones that say they love you. Oh, I support you, but they don't. Deep down, they really won't.
And that's where you have to be careful, because that's sometimes too much of the wrong type of love can sabotage you.
Absolutely. I had to learn that the hard way. The hard
Yeah.
way.
I think
So
we all have once upon a time. We think we've all got a taste of that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that's so equipment. How did you learn? Because videography,
Yes.
just like photography, y'all have the most complicated, high tech equipment to learn. How did you like? How did you get into the equipment? How did you learn the equipment?
You want to know for real? For real? You want to
Definitely.
laugh?
Look, we all look. We all
Like
at that
this?
beginning stage. We all go through that being baptized by fire. You know, sometimes we spend money on stuff because of the hype. I
Yeah.
mean, what? How did you learn what was the right type of equipment to use?
So I did a lot of research, man.
Okay. Okay.
And guess what I did? I pulled up YouTube.
Okay. And from there,
Honestly,
you got a
because
plan.
they're all your class. People tell you and show you how to do this stuff.
Right.
They show you on YouTube how to do it. I looked up YouTube. I done researched online. I researched what type of camera I wanted to use, what was the best type of camera, what's the best type of lighting,
Right.
what's the best way to shoot a wedding, what's the best way to shoot a music video. All the information that you need is researchable.
Right. Absolutely.
And people ask me, some of my closest people ask me this stuff, some stuff. And sometimes I gotta be like, why don't you research it? Because if you research it, you'll find facts probably,
Right.
opposed to asking me, because asking me, I'm gonna give you the Mark way, the Mark version.
Right.
I did it like this, I did it like that, and I did it like that. But I didn't get it that way. I researched it, and I learned it from the research. So and I don't want people to think that it's okay to just rely on somebody's word. I asked so many videographers, how do you do that? How do you do this? And guess what they said? Oh man, only thing I did was this. Only thing I did was that. By the time I got home, I didn't remember that. So I researched it.
Right.
I
Right.
sat down, I pulled it up, and I researched it. Wrote it down. I see what I needed, the type of camera. the way that, and when I got my equipment, now I had to figure out how do I operate.
Right.
Well, YouTube, show me how to operate this.
That's
Next, I went out and I tried it and I practiced it and I performed it. So really, it's certain things that you can teach. There's so many things you can teach yourself.
Right. And that's pretty much like majority of everything you do, you learn, because like now, like when it comes to videography and photography, they got all these classes, they got all these different things you can go to. And to me, one of those things I've learned is what they teach in the class is it doesn't mean anything until you get out here and try to do
Until
it
you
on
get
your
out there. Yeah.
and you get your real life situation, because what's in a book most of the time is not going to make sense when you get out here in the real world and do it. And I know, like with me, my training in videography and photography was the Army style of doing things, and the equipment that they gave us. I mean, it was so high tech that it was just a waste of time. I actually wound up going to get my own equipment just to do what I need to do, because I'm not going to sit here and learn all this extra stuff if I'm not going to use it.
Yes, sir.
So that was just like being baptized by fire in a sense on the equipment. That's why I was curious, or how did you learn? Because and this is one thing I always tell people is do your research, go out and talk to people, find your own method. Like you said, like you'll observe different people doing different things, different videographers doing this and that. Sometimes you'll learn from what a photographer does is also good input as well, because that lighting situation, I've learned a lot just watching some of the photographers with lighting. And so that's where we as a whole, you actually put it together, because I have the reason why I ask those questions. I have a lot of young people that really want to get into videography. And I know like a few of them have gone to school, they spent all this money, and they come back and they haven't learned anything.
That part. And you know what's crazy, Mario? Not only that, outside of school, I learned how to do live stream production, meaning with the with almost like the switcher. I was doing live production with my partner Randy, to where he's got the real cameras, you know, and he's doing a switching production. I didn't learn that in school. I learned that from my homie. And he showed me how to input this, how to set this up, how to match this, how to push this button to make this switch here. Now you got camera 1, you got camera 2, I learned that right there and didn't even go to school. You know, so it's so much stuff that when you're connected to the right people, but really research it. Research it. Everything is right there, man. They tell us they hide information because we don't want to read. I read some stuff too.
Absolutely.
Because you will have to know, you know, what your iOS's is and all this other stuff. You got to read that.
And you know, one of the things that they always taught us coming up is you want to be book smart and you want to be street smart on everything that you do. And when it comes to being a videographer, those that have experience in both areas turn out to be, me personally, I think more so on the street side, the more hands-on, the OJT, on the job training, you're going to learn a lot more than what they teach in school. I think that's across the board for everything, but for videography, photography, because I tell you, the stuff I learned from the military way of training things, it was like, okay, you didn't really teach me. You taught me the basics, but you didn't really teach me like things like when they talk, like we were just talking about raw footage. They gave you this whole definition of raw footage, but that means nothing to me, because when a customer says they want raw footage, they don't know this definition. They just know that they want the stuff that's unedited. That's all they know about raw footage. So it's like you learn a lot, and that's what I say that process is like a lot of times like when it's like, I know for a fact you go through a lot of hard drive space.
Yes, man. So man. I mean, hard drives. I got about 3 hard drives going. I got one that actually the motor shut down on the hard drive. So I had to send that to the Geek Squad just so they can recover my data from that hard drive. I mean, I got footage, years of footage, man. And it's a lot. I got folders and files and stuff, you know. And some stuff I don't keep. Especially like say like if I do a wedding, and I like to do when I do my agreements, I set them up as almost like small contract agreements, you know, even with the raw footage. Because if you get the raw footage, after 90 days, I really don't keep that wedding.
Right.
So I give the client at least 90 days to, if you want that raw footage, some of them, they'll make payments on it. Yeah, I want the raw footage. If they make payments, I'll hold it longer. But after 90 days, I really wouldn't keep that wedding, because I'm like, the client, they already got their video, their highlighted video, which they paid for, and they haven't said anything about the raw footage because I kept it in there in the actual agreement. Right. You'll see it at the bottom, so it's there in the agreement invoice. So if they don't want it, I normally don't keep it after 90 days, because I know that hard drive space is going to fill up.
Right, absolutely.
Up. And you know,
I'm shooting. Being a video DJ, I'm gonna say this: being a video DJ, I got 32 external hard drives.
Wow.
32. And it's because of all the music videos that I like over the years. I've been collecting music videos on top of music videos on top of music videos.
Yeah.
And those things, I mean, you're talking like what, 5 minutes? That's like 300 megabytes.
Yeah. I mean, they're really large files.
Yeah, they're big files.
You know, and just keeping hard drive after hard drive. Once you go through one, and then I gotta keep one now just to back up this one, and to back up this one, and to back up this one, because I don't want no hard drives failing on me. Oh Lord.
God. Let me ask this. What was, after all, like say, because you've been, how long you been in business now?
Well, I can say at least about 2 years.
2 years. So for the 2 years that you've been in business, what was probably your most favorite project of all?
Gosh, Mario, I would say my most favorite project. Good, you pulling me. To be honest, my favorite project is creating my roundtable discussion.
Okay, I kind of figured you were gonna say that, but
because that was 3 different cameras, 3 different microphones, lighting, and number one, it was great discussions, right?
Right, absolutely.
And getting it home into the editor, and I have to sync every microphone to every camera angle, and clipping those and putting them out, and seeing the finished product of the roundtable discussion as a show. When I got the effects coming, I got the logos popping at the bottom, I got the names down the bottom, like we got right there. Hold on, I'm pointing this way. Which one I'm pointing? Head or head? Like this one right here. This me right here. So you get the titles popping up. And Mike said, so OG Knight, right? Well, our original roundtables, man, this is when I first started out, man. We didn't have any cameras right back then. So we had little iPhone and Samsung cameras that we were just messing with to create the roundtable. And it's called Humble Beginnings, man, because we started there and now we got full-blown cameras and stuff, you know. So you know, and he was around from the beginning. Now the roundtable discussion, that's a totally different discussion, man, because I've been through so many roundtables since 2015 up until I think we stopped in 2021, right? Or 22 was the last roundtable, man. But I'm saving that for the documentary, because I'm shooting my own documentary behind the scenes. I don't really talk. I post it here and there, but people just look at it like, okay. But yeah, I'm really creating my own documentary. And I'm gonna talk about the situations with the roundtable, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, okay.
And the ugly.
I'm looking forward to that, because
as good as the roundtable looked on film, there was a lot of ugly behind it that people just did not know, and they'll never know. But I'm gonna talk about it in the documentary.
21. He said 2021.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the last round table. But I got something else coming back though. But I'm gonna just keep it at that.
Okay.
Shout out to my girl Candy Cameron.
Okay, we'll see. OG said right. Okay.
Yeah. So he's been around some time, man.
And then last thing we're gonna talk about community type work. What type of community work do you love to do? Because I know I see you in the community quite a bit. Like, what is it that you like? What are the things you like to do when you get out and you do things for the community? What type of things you love doing for the community?
I would love to continue to keep capturing moments for the community. You know, because that's how I originally started.
Right.
You know, I was capturing moments. You can go to you can Google down Real Talk TV 2015. We were doing 104.5 at the Festival Park thing.
Right.
I believe he filmed the E.E. Smith dance step team at that platform. Just checking out local businesses and interviewing them. You know, I've grown a lot since then, and I still want to get back into that. I do still show up at certain places that I do have the time to.
Right.
Because now that things have changed, I'm booked and I'm filming so many people. You know, I want to show up to as much as I can, and sometimes I can't.
Right, because we get so busy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do get upset with me that I can't come, but I try to ask them to charge it to what's going on, because first of all, like, this is what I do.
Right.
And this is like my living.
Right.
And a lot of people do understand that, you know, they don't hold it against me, but it's some people that really do hold it against me, you know, and you can tell because I'm a vibe person.
Right.
And I'm almost too real to be like, yo, I know you feel a type of way about me because of how you just walk by me and really just ain't say nothing. But just a couple of days ago, you was asking me about a video.
Right.
And now you don't want to say nothing to me. So, you know, I want to continue to get into that, but I do have to take care of the business, because once people hire me, that what I'm hired for takes care of the business.
Right.
It helps me to get more batteries so I can film longer at these events and at your event. It helps me to get a better camera, so now I can produce a way better production for your event. Right. So, you know, it's not just something that we're going around trying to flash. You know, I'm not like that. You know, I want to be able to give where I can, because I am a giver. I pride myself on giving.
Right.
But I also don't want to be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. I
feel like I'm being taken advantage of or played a fool.
Right.
You know, like I had a client last week that wanted to hire me on an event for Valentine's, and I contacted that client on a Monday. The client was like, okay, I'm gonna get back to you. And I contacted them again on a Thursday. They said, oh, I'm gonna call you back. And after that, nothing never happened.
Right.
So once it gets to that point, I just be like, okay, I'm just not even going to bother to go or anything like that, because nothing's been solidified.
Right.
And then it kind of shows that lack thereof of respect or common courtesy to say, hey, I might have found somebody else, or I wasn't able to use you. But when there's nothing, you know, and we've been communicating, I've been communicating, you know, that's the only other thing I don't like, because I consider everybody, you know, if you can't film, just let me know, you know, there's nothing hard about it. I'm not going to, you know, I feel like consideration.
It's a respect. It's a sense of respect. It's like a respect for what you do.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this in the other show. It's just like if you're and we went into details on preparation, operation costs, to run the business. And when you're spending time trying to work with a person, and then they cut sling and don't even give you a heads up. That's money and time wasted.
Yeah. So, and it's like, you know, you'll save that day when you could have gave that day to someone else that inquired about it.
Right.
And that's one thing that I found myself doing is like, okay, I'll hold that date. So now no dates have to get held with deposits.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and once again, a lot of my clients or customers that come, they don't mind paying that deposit.
Right.
Because they know I really want to book this film.
Right.
So, and really, I feel like a deposit is a fair agreement.
Right. It is.
It's a fair agreement. You know,
because it shows you that they're serious. They're putting forth the money into the investment of their product.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if someone who's not serious, they don't want to give you anything because they're hesitating. There's a reason why they don't want to do it, because in most cases they're trying to still figure out if they want to do it or not. But they're going to string you along until they decide either yay or nay. But at this point in time, you've had 3 or 4 other people called you for that same date. You have other people that wanted. So you could have took somebody and they were serious about what their product and the investment, and versus somebody that just wants to string you along. Me personally, if a person's not willing to put down a deposit, I'm not going to waste my time with them. I mean, I've learned that. I got burnt quite a few. I think we've all been to that process.
Absolutely.
And we have to develop that tough skin to where from here on out, I really want to help you, but in order for me to help you, we have to do the basics.
Exactly.
And that was because like we have that giving spirit, and sometimes our giving spirit can get us in trouble.
So, and like I said, because once that deposit is down, to me, there's nothing that's in the way of that unless you get in the way of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're locked and loaded.
Right.
We're locked and loaded. And I feel like deposits should be something that's required all the time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So Mark, look, this has been an awesome show. I mean, I learned a lot about you because, like I said, I had made a bad assumption that you was from Fayetteville, and come to find out you're not even from Fayetteville.
Yeah, man. And it's not a bad assumption. It's just.
Well, I mean, when I say it's bad, it was just an incorrect assumption.
Yo, do you know how many people have preconceived thoughts about me already before they haven't even? And all it takes to do is just to get to know me like this.
Right. Absolutely.
They already have in their mind that he like this. He from Philadelphia. He like this, and really don't know me. But once they come know me, they'll be laughing just like us.
Yeah. Because I just sit back, and numerous times that we were working together, I've sit back and I see you are just so focused. You're so serious about what you do. You put forth a lot of heart into your work. And you can see when someone enjoys what they do because they're so focused. And when I say you're focused, like you said earlier, you want to get that up close shot, and you were right there with it. And that's what I said. I got numerous, like all kinds of pictures and video clips of you.
Yeah, man.
Remember when we did the Intrigue venue?
Yeah,
you was all over. I mean, you was getting all those good shots. You was going on the floor. You was capturing all those moments.
Yes, sir.
And it's like you put a lot of heart in what you do, and it shows. And it really shows. And that's one of the reasons why, like you and there's so many other different ones here in Fayetteville, is that we when it comes to event services, we make the event services community a better platform for the customer base. And because we're putting forth our best talents, our best efforts, and we're putting heart and soul into it.
Yes,
and then we all look at like we're being blessed, so we want to share these blessings.
Yes, sir.
And and that's where we always have that same way of thinking on what we want the end product to be for the customers.
Man, you said it for me, man. It's you gotta care. You care about your clients, and you care about their vision and what they want and what they hired you to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and like you said, when I be so locked and loaded because I feel like I'm part of that event.
Right.
I feel like I'm part of that event, and I got to be here and cover this and cover that and make sure I do everything I need to for this customer. And if it's me taking my talent from a business here in Fayetteville that believes that I could produce their commercial, then I'm going to put everything I got into that commercial because my focus is to make. They believe that I can make them better, or I can make this look good for them, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. So your
That's what I'm
business
gonna do.
commercial, like, and I saw that on your I saw it on the board behind you. Business commercials. How? What do you think of that? Like, how can if I was a business owner and I really want a commercial,
Yes, sir.
how do you work that out with your customer, with your client?
So normally, business commercials are normally, because it just depends on how long they would want it. But I normally, for a commercial, let them book me for the day.
Okay.
And booking me for the day would start at least a couple hundred.
Okay.
I'm not going to be specific, but because
everything is it all depends on the situation, right?
it just depends on the situation. Because
Right.
if it's a restaurant, we want to film some of their special gourmet gifts. We want to film the building. We want to film, possibly people eating it. We want to film the decor. We want to make sure we capture the vibe of that restaurant and deliver it through film. So I would recommend anybody shooting a commercial to book it for the day, because you can hire me for 2 hours for your commercial business, and we can capture some things in 2 hours. But I feel like if you book me for 4 to 5 hours, we can really be detailed and take our time to deliver a very good quality commercial for the business. And once again, like, it just depends on what business it is. If it's a barbershop, it really shouldn't take too long to film a barbershop, but I would still suggest that a commercial be blocked for 4 hours or more.
Okay.
At least 4 hours.
Absolutely. And they really need to know what they want too, because
and know what you want.
Right. Because that vision will help you. Like, if they tell you their vision, it makes it easy for you to capture that vision.
Yeah. And that's the importance of, like, when I do that, I always consult with that owner, because I want to know what's your vision for your business? What are your most important points that you want to deliver in this commercial?
Correct.
Because that's what need to be projected.
Absolutely.
And they're like, yo, well, why I gotta pay a couple $100 for a 30-second or minute commercial? Well, look at the ones that's on TV. Guess how much they paid for them 30-second and 1 minute?
Oh, sure, they pay more than that, but yeah.
But in that 1 minute, they went through the restaurant, the kitchen, the front door, the back, the customer, the drinks, the side, bang, 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 bang. And it's straight to the point.
Right. Absolutely.
It's straight to the point. And that's what I try to tell a lot of people, that, yeah, it might cost you a couple $100, but when you do the commercial, you don't want a 2 minute and 15-second commercial.
Right.
You can't put it on TV. They're going to charge you for that.
They're going to charge you for it.
They're going to charge you for all of that.
It's a 30 seconds to 1 minute.
To 1 minute.
It's even now with the digital commercials that are coming out on social media.
Yeah.
You're getting like 30 seconds is the norm.
Yeah, it's normal.
So it's like, that's a lot of footage to condense it down to, 5 to 7 minutes is already extremely hard to do, but you're talking about 30 seconds to a minute?
To a minute.
That's like, that's almost like being a magician in a sense when you're doing VR. When you have to edit that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, but when it comes to a commercial, like, I would, if they're doing one with Real Talk TV, I would really highly suggest a block. 4 to 5 hour block. Let's film from, because it just depends on what it is too, But let's film from 12 to 4, 4 to 12 to 5 for the commercial. That means we done cover all aspects. And after that, once I know, I take it home to the editor and I go right to them aspects that we talked about, chop them down, set them up. Now we getting into text crediting, coming across the screen?
Right.
What wording do you want? What information do you want coming
Right.
across the screen?
Who's
Because
your target audience?
it has to flow. It has to come within this
Right.
30 seconds or within this 1 minute. So give me everything, all your information that you want.
Right.
The contact, the address, the phone number, the locations, how you want it to do. So I really consult with all of my clients that do commercials. Man, we might even consult for a week before we shoot it because it has to be right. It got to be right. Really, I don't want to touch it. If you call me and say, hey, I want to shoot a commercial tomorrow, and we can't consult about it, and you like, hey, I just want you to go ahead and do your thing, I really don't want to do it.
Right.
Because I I really like to be structured with everything.
Right.
Everything. I want us to be on the same page. I don't want to film my vision for your thing. I need a piece of what I need a piece of you. I need to know. Give me some of that. Look, oh, who that? Brad.
Brad, what's going on, Brad? Fellas.
What's up, Brad? I done filmed weddings with Brad.
Right, I know. Yep.
I done filmed weddings with Brad. Brad was hitting me up like, bro, man, I need you to film. I do all this filming for him, help him out. I want, you know, I'll use my talent to be a blessing for somebody else.
Right, absolutely.
So if I can help you out, hit me up.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, like what you were saying with the client is structure, is because like for example, if you get a client and they don't know their market, they don't know their target audience, all those things play into it. If they don't have a clear vision of the footage that they're trying to do, because at this point in time, what I tell people up front is when you're doing anything when it comes to marketing, you need to know your target audience. You need to know who are you trying to get to understand or want to come to your location or buy your product. You need to know the details of like how, like what's your target audience. And a lot of people, when you go do commercials, they're clueless because they don't even know who they are. They just want something out there. Just because they see somebody else got something, they just want something out there.
Yeah. And I mean, bro, but people like, sometimes I'll be like, man, you can't really fault them for that, man. They want to put something out.
Right.
You know?
But the thing is, you're trying to get that.
But for me,
the structure.
Yeah, for me, it has to be structured. I don't want to touch it if it's not structured.
Right, absolutely.
Because, and I'm not to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm structured.
Right.
And when I deliver a product, man, it's structured from head to toe. You know what I'm saying? I rarely get called for something on the go. Everybody that called me had a vision and a dream. And they delivered it. They showed me it. They told me it. We sat down. We probably even had lunch over it.
Right.
And that's part of the reason that I'm able to produce their commercial. Now, when it comes to events, those really aren't planned. That's my creativity coming in.
Right.
You know, but we're talking about a commercial here.
Right.
We're talking about your brand.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about your brand. We have to sit down and let's talk about your brand, how you want it structured.
Right.
You know, because I don't want you telling me I don't want that like that. Well, we never talked about it.
Right.
You just threw me in here and said, yo, make something happen for me.
Right. That's why that crystal clear guidance and vision, it has to be done, because if not, you'll waste your time.
Yeah. And the thing is, people be like, yo, man, I want to do this little quick video, this little 1 minute video, man. It ain't gonna take that long. Man, it could take, you know how long it could take to edit 1 minute?
A long time.
You get out of here with this 1 minute little short stuff, man. Just pay for the film. That's it.
Right.
Let's do it. Whether it's 1 minute or 5 minutes, you're gonna look good.
Right.
And you're gonna look professional.
Right. And that's what people have to understand, is that when you put out a product, you want your product to be a representation of who you are.
Who you are, man.
And if you put out garbage, then it kind of reflects that you're garbage. So you can't just throw something out there. You want, like I said, that's why the structure there in place is because you have a standard of what you want your product to be.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and that's something that, you know, anybody would do it with their business, man. They're going to trust me. Yeah, you do make your money editing. You know, that's just the nature of the business. And anybody that has a business are going to do what they need to do to, number one, protect their business. Number two, make sure their business is structured correctly.
Right.
You know, and running correctly. You know, so when people come into your establishment, they're gonna say, man, they running this shit right.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they running this thing right, man. You know? So
Mark, what's the last word? So I know we've gone over a few minutes, but it's okay. What's the last thing you want to say to everybody before we get out of here?
The last thing I want to say is, if you're looking for any video work, of course, I got the logo behind me. I'll move over so you can see. You can email us at realttv@gmail.com for any video work that you need, whether it's local events, weddings, music videos, birthday parties. We do it all. We even cover Mario when he's up there DJ. That's what we do.
Yes,
we will do it. So, but
yes, indeed.
Yeah, so you can contact us at realttv@gmail.com for all your video needs.
Okay.
And man,
what's that number? Because I know your phone number has been blocked. So what's that phone? Read that phone number out for us.
Okay. So the phone number says 910-759.
You can't see it. There you go.
3144.
Okay, there we go.
That is the business line. That is not my personal number. so you know, if you got my personal number, you special. But
right, exactly.
That business line, I do answer that as well. So you can call that. That's 579-759-3144. And you can hire us for all video work, man. And last but not least, man, I just want to say, fly, Eagles, fly.
There we go. Hey. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mark. Outstanding young man.
Thank you,
doing great things for the community of Fayetteville. And again, I look forward to working with you again. You and Brad, I'm telling y'all are some some bad videographers. Well, y'all be getting down and y'all be getting into it.
Yes, sir, man. Me and Brad about to be the tag team, man. You know, we about to be the new Voltron, man. We gonna come together and form like Voltron. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. Brad done referred a lot of people my way too, man. That's what I'm saying. I always believe in being good to people, man.
Brad said, "Let's go."
Okay. Yeah, let's go, Brad. You know what I'm saying? I always believe in being good to people, man, because it always comes back to you, man. It always comes back to you, man. And he's one of those people that, you know, he pours out, you know. And I just pray over him that all the time that blessings just pour right back into him, you know. So we try to refer each other, you know. And that's what it's about, man. Yeah, when you in that circle and you know people, we all refer each other.
Right, absolutely.
Yep, we all refer each other, man.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I know we'll definitely gonna have Mark back on the show again. We'll probably have Mark and Brad on the show, and we'll probably
let's get on the tour. We can put 4 screens up here. Can't you?
Definitely, yeah, I sure can. Yeah. So I know I tried to look last time, Brad. He was like on one of my other shows. I invited him in, but he couldn't get. He was too busy at the time. But I said, well, next time, because I know what I'll do is like I got my time frame for my planners, time frame for my DJ. So now I'm gonna get one for my videographers, so we can come in here and talk about and the thing is, the biggest thing about this platform is to educate the customer on why we're important and why they should have our services.
And that's the thing about it, man. The one thing I obsesses me the most is that a customer know that they need to get a video,
right?
Know that they need to get pictures, and make it the last thing on their list until it's the one thing that they end up not having because they made it the last thing on their list.
Right.
You know how many people I said, man, I wish I'd have got that video done with you. I should have did that. I should have did it when I was thinking about it. Right.
And it's too late then.
Yeah, we here, man.
It's too late.
That's why we here. You know.
But if someone was going to, I'm glad you brought that up. If someone was going to book you, what's probably the best? How much time in advance they need to book you? It's like about 6 months, about 6 to 12 months in advance.
Well, and once again, though, I've had people book me with events that's 2 or 3 days away. But if you know that you're having an event next month and your budget, that's the thing. It has to be the client's budget. They know their budget.
Right.
And you know your budget isn't going to be able to, you're not going to be able to have it next month, but you'll have it this month. Plan for it early.
Right.
You know, I would say get with me a month before you had your event and put a deposit on it. Right. I've seen so many clients that put a deposit on it, and that it made it easier for them when it got closer to the event to pay the remainder. It makes it easier on them.
Right. That's why I tell them book it. I always stress book it in advance because you can make your monthly payments and stuff like that to pay it off. Don't try to play, you know, the shorter the time frame, the more stress you're going to be under to make payments, financial stress.
Yep.
So it's better to do stuff in advance because then that stress factor is gone. And then at the same time, the more time you have, the more structure and the more you can develop that vision.
Yeah. And the one thing about me is I never take a full payment up front unless it's 2 or 3 days prior.
Right.
Now, or if you booking me that day, hey, can you come today? I need that today, everything.
Right.
Outside of that, them deposits, man, they work for the clients. They work for my clients, and it helps them.
Right.
You know, can I make payments? Sure, you can. That's fine.
Right.
Make it easier on yourself and your budget.
Absolutely.
And really doing it ahead of time, like you said, like a lot of people that I've worked with, man, them doing it ahead of time help them out.
And that's why I stress like that. That's that planning fact. That's that planning side of me. The event planner side of what I do. It's better to do it in advance because you're locking in all your resources. I always tell people up front, if you want to have more choices for the right resources, book them early.
Book them early.
The closer you wait to the last minute, like I said, the closer that time short, you might be booked for an event.
Absolutely.
And you, like I said, so then when you're not booked, Brad is booked, y'all both booked, then you got to go find a videographer. In most cases, there ain't but so many in Fayetteville.
That part.
So then you got to go deal with somebody out of Raleigh or out of Charlotte. Now you got to worry about, are they going to make it in time because they got to travel? I did one wedding in Rocky Mount, and the videographer was coming from Wilmington, and he showed up 2 hours late.
Woo!
He missed the ceremony. He missed part of the reception.
Whoa.
And then for the time he came in, he tried to make up for it. But you know, when you miss the ceremony, it's a done deal. And that's why I say I've seen that element to where you wait till the last minute. And in this case, it wasn't a last minute deal. This one, they actually booked them in advance.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you're doing, and again, nothing with doing stuff out of town, but the person needs to be responsible enough to plan for emergency situations. You never know when you might have a flat tire. I'm always trying to be in my event 4 hours in advance because I just want to have that extra time. I don't like to get somewhere and they're waiting on me.
Yep.
Never, I'm knock on wood. I've never had that happen to me. But one time, but it wasn't my fault. It was because the venue didn't let us in until the last minute.
Yeah.
But that's well. Look,
and that's how I am, man. You know, with my clients, man. Like we were saying, I normally do. If they know that their wedding is on a particular date, I would write them up for that date, and I would say the deposit has to be 2 weeks prior to the actual event to lock the date in. That's for the deposit, and then the remainder is due the day of that event or the day before that event. So we know that we are.
And that's on the planning side. I always tell my clientele, you definitely especially on the wedding day, take care of all your financial stuff 2 weeks prior.
So you ain't got to worry about it.
Pay everything off 2 weeks prior because I always say what we call it is the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get within 2 weeks. It becomes a red zone.
Yeah.
And the red zone is when you're dealing with your family, you're dealing with your friends. So the last thing you want to be dealing with is like there's some stuff the vendors are going to ask for, but we're going to try to get all that stuff out the way.
True.
Because we know you're going to be dealing with a lot of stress. So it's important. And the reason why I stress that is we had one situation where a couple was relying on a family member to pay for something, and that family member reneged on it. So it was a bad situation.
Bad.
So that you want to deal with that stuff in advance.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, 2 weeks. It
2
gives you
weeks
time
prior.
to react.
Yeah.
If like in that situation, if they wait to the day of, and then that uncle or aunt or that grandma, whoever it was, if they renege on that situation, that puts you in a bad situation, and then it puts them in a bad situation.
Yep.
So that's why I stress that get that financial stuff out the way 2 weeks prior. At least some vendors require 30 days prior, but I say at the bare minimum 2 weeks prior, because
2 weeks,
that's that less stress you have to worry about.
At all, you know. So but this is a good one, Mario.
All right. Well, look, thank you, Mark, for coming on. Like I said, this was fun. I really enjoyed this because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how you operate and a lot about you as a person. So I'm
good.
grateful for that.
Everybody, a lot of people don't know because I'm really, I talk my little football trash on Facebook, but in person, like a lot of people really don't know me like that.
Right.
And it's good people like you that I see a lot and work with a lot and stuff like that. Even with Brad's one of the great guys around me. That actually, Brad is the one that showed me my work. He showed me my work. He's the one that showed me my work. And since he showed me that, I haven't went lower than my work.
There you go. There you go.
And guess what? And like he said, it's respected because people still get the film.
Right.
And
see, me, I love to see this. And this is one of the things I love about what we do is as vendors of the event services here in Fayetteville, if we build a strong circle of professionals,
yes,
we can come together and do great things.
Yeah.
And so, but all right. Well, look, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Like I said, it is posted. It's going to be posted. I know it's been shared quite a few times. I've been sitting here looking at this thing go crazy.
Sharing, okay, that's what's up.
On YouTube, so it is on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It is also on Switch. So again, if you have a smart TV, you can pull it up. You can Google dc2dw.rmol, and it'll come up, and you'll be able to watch it on your smart TV.
And that's real talk.
There we go. All right, look, we out of here. We're gonna go backstage, and we'll see y'all next time.
And you have
OG says, okay, wait a minute. Invite me again. Okay, definitely.
Yeah, we'll put him on here.
We'll put him on so we can have him on the show.
Yeah, if that's somebody that if you asked about me, he knows my background too since I've been here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this, like I said, this is what this is all about, is building a strong community of great talent, great professionals, professionalism. And then, like I said, because I remember, and I'm just going to say this real quick. I remember when I first came on board back, 10 years ago, the actual event services was, everybody was cutthroat. And I didn't like that environment. Yeah. And so a lot of people say, well, you're just going to have to roll with it because that's how it is. Yeah. I didn't accept that. I was like, well, from that point, I started to build my own network, and I wanted to weed out the bad apples and bring up the professionals, then we can do right by the customers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said, okay, let's plan ahead and get us all on. Okay, I'm down with that, Brad.
Yeah, get us all on. Yeah,
I'll definitely get all y'all on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm down for that, Brad.
But that's why I said that when I see professionals out in the field, and that's all I want to do is I want to highlight us and bring us up. Not again, I want to highlight everybody, but I can't. One of the things I don't want to do is bring in the bad apples. Yeah, because one bad apple will ruin the bunch, and I don't even want to harp on negative stuff. I want to focus on positive stuff, positive people and professionalism.
Yeah.
But all right, well, look. All right, look. We'll see y'all later. We're getting out of here. Me and Brad. I mean, excuse me. If I said Brad, Mark gonna go back to the stage, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Yes, sir. All right.